Hello friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes the People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. This is this week's playlist. Playlist is always led into by my teaser, which comes up on Thursday. That is the track of the week, and it defines the entire theme of the playlist. Playlist feeds into all the other playlists. You can find all that information, including the curation for this week's teaser, in the comments section down below. And we're going to go right into this week's playlist. And the theme defined by the track is revolutions in music. So the teaser for this week was the 1964 Ed Sullivan Show recording of the Beatles doing I Want to Hold Your Hand. I went into some pretty serious curation about that on Thursday night, but just want to make another few notes about that. This was a moment in music history when you knew everything had changed. Rock and roll was starting. It was becoming more mainstream. It was not a niche genre. It was not a relegated to a certain group of people genre. It was really coming in. You watch these screaming young people watching this show, and you know that something new and exciting was completely happening. And that is what makes this such a special moment in music history. I could have gone into some other things that changed things. I could have gone to one of the classical artists who completely changed the style in which they wrote their work because of the invention of the piano. I could have gone into the movement that combined traditional gospel music and traditional regional music and so forth to make blues and therefore jazz and therefore band. But I thought we'd start with something a little more recent and a slightly more recent revolution of that magnitude of music. So that's why I felt like this should be the track of the week. I hope you enjoy that. Moving right on. The Better to Be Happy track for this week. I am giving you a very nice little present because this is a vinyl mix by Ilmars of all old school happy hardcore music. Now, the Better to Be Happy track is always a happy hardcore track. Well, I'm giving you an hour plus of it. And when you check it out, if you look in the description on that video, you can find all the tracks and where they're at and where they lead into each other. So I hope you really dig that. You want something great to put on when you're driving your car, cleaning your house, or anything like that. This is just amazing work, and it's some of the best early happy hardcore. And happy hardcore really revolutionized the industrial music scene, or the electronic music scene, because it had such a faster pace. There was a series of CDs back in the day called Speed Limit 240 BPM, I believe. And that tells you that's beats per minute. That's the type of energy that this stuff has. And I hope you really enjoy it because this is one of the better mixes that I've heard. And it's straight off the decks on vinyl, which is also awesome. But I like to treat you all to as much as I possibly can. So we also always have a full track. The full track is always either a complete record, a complete live set, or a complete DJ set. And this week, it's a complete live set. This is the New York City Dolls, A Hard Night's Day, which was their live album that they put out. The New York City Dolls were one of the major influential bands on what became punk rock music, along with the Motor City 5. And names are failing me now. But really just changed the music scene and were roots to some of what punk rock is and what the first wave of punk rock music became, such as the Sex Pistols, Ramones, things like that. So this is an entire live recording of one of their shows. This album was put out, I think, in 1974. If I have that wrong, I apologize. But it is really great, and it just shows you those roots from whence punk rock music came. Hope you dig on that. Next, the cover that kicks ass for this week. I'm giving you two revolutionary music artists, because this is one of the most revolutionary music artists of the 1990s, which would be Beck, who changed the music scene so much, and it has influenced so many artists with the way he creates music and just throws genres together. This is him right after the passing of Second Artist, doing the Purple Ones, Raspberry Beret. Yes, this is Prince. This is Beck covering Prince. And Prince, oh my gosh. Amazing and talented musician. The guy could play anything, had an amazing voice, wrote amazing, was an amazing music producer, but also did so much to change music back in the 1980s and early 1990s. He really brought, once again, just like Beck, a lot of different music forms together and introduced a lot of people to music they would not have been familiar with. So I am really excited to share this with you. It is an awesome cover. It's done live, and I hope you really dig on it. Now we get to the Whose House? John's House track. This is Jesse Saunders doing On and On. Now, this is considered by music historians to be the first house record that was ever put out. Don't get me wrong, house music had existed for that, but this is considered the first house track that was published, because before that everything was underground. DJs were doing their own mixes, putting their own stuff together, and the man eventually went on to form his own record label. And Jesse Saunders, he wrote this with the help of Vince Lawrence, and he's considered the originator of house. So it's really cool to check this out, especially compared to a lot of the stuff that I play, which is mid-generation house, which is a lot harder, a lot more banging. But you can see where they're taking to write tracks, samples and synthesizer things and tracks, combining a lot of disco music, combining a lot of hip-hop music, and making this whole new genre of music that I absolutely adore. I mean, it's been a part of my life for so long. It was my living for quite some time. So please enjoy this, because this is seriously, this is the seed that grew the tree. This is the little acorn. So I hope you enjoy this track. Going on, every 6 weeks we change up certain genre, and those genres are all subscriber based. So I ask subscribers to suggest a genre, and I find tracks and put together at least 2 a week. Sometimes I just throw up something randomly for fun. And if you want to leave a genre, please do so in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you have any new music, any new tracks you want me to listen to, I am more than happy to. Please, I ask you, leave the title, the artist, and a link, and I will be happy to check that out. In fact, if I haven't heard it before, it might make its way onto Midweek Music Ear Candy, which I do on Wednesday nights, and that's where I listen to a track for the first time, write down a few notes, do a slight bit of research, and then put up my curation video within 15 minutes. So if you have music you want to share with me, please do so, because that's what this channel is all about. I share music with you, you share music with me, we share music with each other, and a good time is had by all. So right now, the genre theme is metal. And the playlist is called Tough as Iron, Precious as Gold. And since we're talking about revolutionary music, we're going to talk about some of the first metal artists of all time. That would be Black Sabbath. And this track is off of their first album. This is Electric Funeral. It's also really cool because I got some live footage, a live recording of it for you to check out. This is an amazing track. This album changed music so much. I mean, arguably, you had Deep Purple before that. You had Led Zeppelin before that. You know, a number of artists who fit into this, even arguably like King Crimson and things like that. But Sabbath is, by a number of people, not all, and as I said, it's arguable, considered the first heavy metal album. So please enjoy that track. Now, this is something I don't do very often, but for the second track, what I've decided to do is take in another band that was revolutionary in the metal movement. This is Pantera, who revolutionized metal so much. You wouldn't have nu metal if it weren't for them. Not that they were nu metal, but they influenced nu metal bands a lot. This is Pantera covering Electric Funeral. And this is a pretty sweet cover. A little more crunchy, a little more heavy. You know, just because it's slightly later and a lot of music had evolved and changed. And, you know, that's the thing that I love about music. It's always evolving. It's always changing. And that's what this playlist is all about this week, is revolutions in music. So please check those out. Back to back, Electric Funeral. Oh, good stuff. Every week I do a bonus track, and my bonus track this week is one that I absolutely adore. When I used to do Goth Industrial Night, I ended every night with this track, and this is the classic Bauhaus track, Bela Lugosi's Dead. Quite arguably, and once again, movements in music are always arguable, but quite arguably this was the first goth band. And if I remember correctly, this was their first single. And it is just a great, wonderful song. I got the full-length mix, so I hope you enjoy checking that out as well. If you're into gothic, industrial, dark wave, any of that, Bauhaus influenced it. One of the things I always loved about them, as opposed to some later gothic music, there was always that little tongue-in-cheek thing, kind of like if you're a Typo Negative fan. It's that tongue-in-cheek, you know, you can laugh at yourself. You can laugh at how dark and gloomy and evil this is supposed to be. So I hope you really dig on that. Thank you so much for coming out here. Let's see, a few more things. I'll do the shameless plug right now. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you subscribe so you know when new stuff comes up. And if you have anything to say, please leave it in the comments section below. And we're going to go right to trivia, speaking of the comments section down below, because that's where you leave your answers. Now, the trivia question for last week was, the band Dragon Force had a different name originally. What was that name? That name was Dragonheart, and this was answered by the Knight of the Laughing Tree. First, the Knight gets the Smooch of the Week. You also get special track for the week, which was loaded up last Sunday. And since you answered it so fast, you got a special bonus track. So I hope you enjoyed that. This week's trivia question was actually inspired to me partially by the Order of Raylor. Thank you so much, miss. That does mean you may not participate, but thank you for giving me the inspiration for this trivia question. So, The theme of the week track was by the Beatles. Now, technically, there have been 10 members of the Beatles. Very, very, very technically. But technically, there have been 10 members of the Beatles. The trivia question for the week is, outside of John, Paul, George, and Ringo, name 2. If you can do that, you'll get the smooch for the week. You'll also get your own special bonus track. If you want to see all the other bonus tracks that have come out, check them out. There's a bonus tracks playlist that is in the description down below. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and let you enjoy this music. If you would be so kind, please check it out and have a wonderful day. I just need to do a couple shout outs really quick. Those would be to AU Pack Mule, In Deep Geek,
Good afternoon, good evening, whatever.
Johnny Be Crazy, Entertainment Hacker, Bridge 4, and Lauren Cullen, who, by the way, is doing the drop for her new book today. That would be on her channel, Lauren's Corner. That'll be on at 2:30 Eastern. You can find the link to that in the description down below. I'm really excited. She's actually having me as a guest on there. Check out her work. It is absolutely amazing. But yeah, these people have helped me with my channel, and I just want to return the favor by helping them out. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I hope you have a wonderful week. In the meantime, please be excellent to one another and party on.